Wow, this Hangout on Air is live.
Ooh, nice. That's important.
Awesome. How's it going, Mike?
It's good, man. I am stressed out. I don't know if you saw that our current matchup in Chode League is decided by like 4.2 points
Oh, that's awesome. Good,
in
good.
favor of me.
Oh, well, okay. Maybe I'll fuck with it. Anyway, hello everyone, and welcome to the first League Curse. Maybe this is a way that we can fuck with it.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, honestly, this could change the outcome of any of many matchups. If I win, it will make this not clear. Or no, this won't even affect it because, or maybe it will. Who cares? Let's just get right into the curse thing, and we'll figure out the ramifications of the points later.
yeah, nothing matters. First up, the Phoenix Suns.
Mhm.
That what's going on? They suck.
They do. So for everyone that, I mean, everyone at this point watching should know how this works, but we basically every month take 4 to 5 of the chodiest things that have happened, mainly by front offices or non-players involved with the team, identify the 4 chodiest things, and then we talk about them, and then there's a raffle, and each loss that the team had during that month is a slip. And then if you're we pick a chody team, cursed team for that month. If and then every owner is assigned to one team, and then if your team is that, you get minus 100 points a week, which is pretty significant. So it's basically like having one really good player or a Shackman appearance. And there's lots of these games, especially this season. There's so much parity in Shield League this year, dude. It's
It's
a
really hard.
it's really hard. Everyone's really good. People are like killing it on the draft or on the free agent bids too. Like everyone is low on money, which is great. Like the end of the year is going to be interesting.
There's a lot
So
of parity in the NBA too, so it's been a surprisingly good season.
yeah.
I even think the Rockets might beat the Warriors. It's not like stupid to think that.
Wait, are you being serious? Are you making fun of that Reddit post?
I'm thinking they actually might. I really like the Harden Paul look. I mean, it's an underdog chance still, but
Mhm.
they have like a real chance. I
Yeah.
like.
So I last night I was in Houston because the for Thanksgiving was where my parents live, and the Knicks were in town by the grace of God, but KP and Enes Kanter were injured by the wrath of the injury god. So the Knicks started the game. I don't know if you paid
Oh, there are
attention.
two
The
gods.
Knicks started to game 20-3
Oh,
because Beasley could not be stopped, and then quickly we ended up losing the game by like 10.
mm. I like
But
how this shows how bad the Suns are and how boring they are.
okay, well, yeah, that we're talking about literally anything else. And then was it so like the Rockets, like they look good. Um, I think they are very like dependent on if they're hitting 3 pointers or not. And I think the
Uh,
problem is they look good against teams that can't defend the three, like the Knicks. They look amazing. But I think once you play a team like the Warriors who has legitimate wing defenders, it's going to be bad because they have a very limited offense, which is usually just like Clint Capella pick and roll and then dish to someone on the wing or alley oop to Clint Capella. And if you play a team that actually like, tries on defense and stuff, like the Rockets, I think I'm afraid that what's going to happen is exactly what happened in the playoffs last year, where it's like during the regular season, they look great. And then in the playoffs, when you play the same team 7 times and you know exactly what they do every single time, and you just
it
devise
gets
a
hard.
defensive
I
scheme
feel
to
you.
stop the replays that they have, they might be bad.
Now, the
Um,
Rockets did beat the Warriors in October. I remember watching that game. It was dope. And then
mhm.
they played twice in January. So we'll get a couple more looks at
Yeah,
this matchup.
we'll
But
see. We'll see how it goes. But let's get into what happened with the Suns. So basically, it's everyone knows the story. It was the Eric Bledsoe. It was just we chose the Suns because of all the chodiness that happened their first month, where it was the Eric Bledsoe "I don't want to be here" thing, him pretending it was a hair salon, the owner of the team saying that's complete bullshit, and then also firing Earl Watson 3 days into the season when they should have. I don't know. I like. It's not necessarily firing him 3 days into the season that's bad because that decision made sense given how bad the Suns were. Like it was a legitimate discussion in the NBA for the first month that any team that had played the Suns, you ignored their stats. Like they're like, oh yeah, the Blazers are in top of the league in offensive efficiency, but they played the Suns and won by 45 points. So really, like it was just a standard discussion point was that if your team had played the Suns, your stats were irrelevant, and that was for an entire month. So the real thing though about firing Watson that so showed is like, why didn't they do it last year? He was or like during the offseason, why didn't they hire a coach? It just made no sense because like no one ever was like, yeah, Earl Watson should be the coach of this team. I just don't get why if he had such a short leash, They didn't like just try to find a new guy.
Mike, no one could have seen this coming. I thought the Suns would be a 35 win team. No, I'm ruined
Yeah.
about that. It doesn't make sense. It's interesting. They fined Eric Bledsoe $10,000, which is only minus 10 chode points. I'm surprised that was such a low chode blow. I mean, I would expect a bigger fine for just going on Twitter and saying dumb shit like that. I mean, it's just tampering, right?
Yeah, I guess the problem is that even if it's a very bullshit lie, there's no concrete proof. It's not like you said, I want to be traded from the Phoenix Suns.
That's
It's heavily insinuated, but it's not like he legitimately said it outright. And also, I feel like the NBA with fines and stuff, it's way more about obscene gestures. Like Dwight Howard just got fined $35,000 for doing the like pussy finger tongue thing. So I think they care more about like flipping off the crowd or doing that rather than, I don't know. It's not like it was real tampering; it was reverse tampering, where the guys just like,
Pussy Finger Tongue sounds like an ASAP song. Anyway, the Suns had 9 losses, so they'll get 9 slips.
Yeah, and speaking of tampering, Ricky,
Right?
how about you talk about our next one, which was your favorite of the 4 that you shoehorned in because it technically happened in the offseason.
Oh man, I like this. And the first week, because it was a $500,000 fine, I gave 500 chode points to Max Gross and Tim Parisi for owning the Los Angeles Lakers. Magic Johnson thought the Lakers would be good before the season. I saw an interview where he was like, "Ooh, I have Lonzo Ball, I have Kyle Kuzma shooting threes, I have Brandon Ingram and Larry Nance. Ooh, he's doing this." Well, he also wanted Paul George, which wouldn't have been enough, I guess. Still, if you look at OKC, but he wanted Paul George a little bit too much. What did he even do? Fuck.
It was so what they actually nailed him for was I think they traced either emails or phone calls or both with Mitch Kupchak and Paul George's agent. Just it wasn't anything concrete, but basically it was established that the general manager of the Lakers
about tampering in the
Oh shit! Sorry, I was looking at it because I thought it was on the Kimmel Show, but that was him reacting.
No, the Kimmel Show. I think the Kimmel Show was before like the official hammer came down on it. I think I don't think he actually got in trouble for the Kimmel Show, but the Kimmel Show didn't help Magic because he was doing like the wink, wink, nod, nod thing on the Kimmel Show. I think really what it came down to is they found concrete evidence that the Lakers front office had established contact with Paul George's owner, and Paul George is a player that's under contract. So you can't like when it's looking for trades and stuff, you don't go through or Paul. Did I say Paul George's owner?
Paul George's owner, and
his agent. The owner of the Lakers had contact with Paul George's agent. I think the thing is when someone's under contract and you're looking to have them on your team, the only way that you're legally allowed to do that is talk to the front office of his current team. Because he was never a free agent, even though it was very much a set in stone thing that the Pacers were trading him. You still can't talk to him directly, and that's what they did. So,
I mean, this is so weird because players constantly talk to each other.
Oh yeah, like
they're very open about it, and like I don't know. I mean, Magic Johnson's a player, so really, what's the difference?
But he also has a job with the Lakers.
So do all the Lakers players. I mean, if you think about it, tampering's bullshit.
Oh, it is. It's weird that player-to-player thing is like not an issue at all, especially given like with free agent like the day that it goes live, people sign deals like within 20 minutes. Like, okay, those deals are on the table. It's weird.
Yeah, I wonder how far this and like what they're really trying to prevent. Is it like Pat Riley going, hey, if you take less money, you'll have a job with the Heat forever, and bullshit like this.
I think they're trying to prevent teams from like telling people like, hey, like trying to establish like a Heat thing, because the Heat thing wasn't that bad because it was Wade, Bosh, and LeBron on their own deciding they wanted to do this. Whereas if you have front offices involved, like if they are talking to Paul George and like, hey, we're going to get LeBron, we've talked to LeBron, blah, 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 and then he gets them, and then they don't get LeBron, then it's like a really bad situation for the players where they've been led to believe that
Oh,
everything is going to be okay and they're going to have the situation. And then if it doesn't go through, so I think it's just a safety net for the players so that they don't get roped into a front office making promises they can't follow through on. And then also the NBA doesn't like super teams.
I
So it
don't know if
also,
that's really true, but this is like the this is business meme where I saw it on our Indian Facebook, I think, and it's the guy goes to the manager of the bank and he says, "My son is the husband of Bill Gates' daughter. Will you give him a job at the bank?" And he goes, "Yes, I'll give him a very nice job." And then he goes to Bill Gates and he says, "My son has a nice job with the bank. Can you marry your daughter?" And Bill Gates says yes for some reason because he needed a bank or something. And then at the end, it's like that's business. So actually, that's tampering. And now we know the Lakers lost 8 times because they're shitty, but they're not the Suns, so that's good.
yay.
Yay. Speaking of shitty but not the Suns, what the fuck is up with what the Fultz is up with Markel? I have a note to make that joke.
I'm
And
proud
then
of you for writing that down. So yeah, it's all the shoulder stuff. It's just this weird thing where it's like his free throw shooting form was off, and then it was said that he did it on its own, which is weird. And then he was saying it's because of a shoulder injury, and they were saying it wasn't. And then he was saying that he was hurt, and then they agreed to him being hurt. And then his agent said that they had put fluid into his shoulder, but then the team corrected it that they put fluid out of his shoulder. Wojnarowski had an article that they made him take down, but it was like all this weird thing where the Sixers just like can't fucking figure out injuries and correctly reporting them, and their medical staff and reporting staff doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's very weird. Markel Fultz is on my team, on my bench, because he averaged 10 chode points a game. Very good.
Yes.
And then every 2 weeks, they say, we'll look at him again in 2 weeks. And then I'm like, should I keep this guy just forever? Is he ever going to play again? Sorry?
Is there any like official word on a timetable for when he's coming back?
Well, they'll just reevaluate him in 2 to 3 weeks again.
Jeez.
Yeah, this might go all year. I don't know. Although they're not really tanking anymore. But by the way, I'm watching like all the Sixers games. They're very good and fun.
Good for you. I am not currently watching them, but I'll watch them every now and then.
Okay, I'm
Simmons
now
is very good at
Sixers
basketball.
fan. It's real. I'm a Sixers fan. Ben Simmons is LeBron, and Joel Embiid is Hakeem Olajuwon.
Oh God,
I am correct. And Robert Covington is Klay Thompson.
No, he's not. But okay, I do like Rocco a lot.
Okay. And Saric is okay. I wish Saric would get more high post touches. Hot take. He's not getting enough this year. That's fine. All right. That's enough about the Sixers. What the fuck, Markel? God damn it. Is he ever going to be good? Do we think Markel Fultz will be okay?
I think he will be. It really comes down to like if his like I'm afraid that he's just got this like weird mental thing. The changing a shot on his own thing is strange, and all this stuff in the off season, like between the draft and him getting on the team, was like it was weird. Like when he did that whole like he did some Sixers rookie thing with Simmons, and he was like trying to be like a deadpan comic, and it wasn't funny. That was like a red flag. And then his obsession with Chick-fil-A is weird. That he's
that worries me about his conditioning, man. That's way too much Chick-fil-A. Come on, and he's got that round face already. He's gonna. Yep. He's gonna D-Wade. When D-Wade retires, he's gonna like a little bit. It'll be cute. But like this, he's gonna do it too. Would you rather have Lonzo Ball or Markel Fultz right now, based on what we know?
I think I would rather have right now. I think I would probably rather have Fultz in hopes that when he comes back from this injury thing that he's like good.
Wow. Because I said something about Lonzo's ceiling.
Well, Lonzo, like I figured he was going to be not the best shooter when he came in, because no one is as good of a shooter from college, but I didn't expect it to be this bad. Like he's really struggling shooting. And the other thing is he's very timid, which I think is a rookie thing. Like I'm seeing that with Ntilikina on the Knicks, is like he just looks like scared to be out there and like afraid to make mistakes. So maybe like in 2 years Lonzo like shakes this and it's no big deal. But But I think currently I would just rather have Markel, just because like there is the potential that he's just like fine, and this is just like a weird blip in his career, and it's just some weird shoulder thing that goes away once he's healed. But
I can't wait to be trolled when he turns into Jason Kidd, Lonzo Ball, and we go like, "Oh shit! Remember the shoulder Chick-fil-A guy?" This is gonna haunt us. But right now, I don't know either. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's Nick Kalina? There's no T. You don't say the T.
It's Knee Lee Keena, so it's like knee, Bruce Lee,
And
key
then
to open a door, and then nah.
Whoa, that's very. It rhymes a lot. That's a fun name. I'm sure there are.
It is a fun.
Neely Keena.
It's like the opposite of Antetokounmpo, where it was hard to pronounce and no one knew what to say, but then everyone around the league learned it because it's actually not that hard. Whereas,
Right.
and I don't think Antetokounmpo is that hard, but like it took everyone like 2 seasons to pronounce Giannis's name right.
Right.
Yeah.
Neely Keena. Okay, cool. I'll be a fan of him. Fuck it. Speaking of
I love
Knicks,
him. Yeah, so the Knicks. So this was something that when it happened was like really bad, and then thankfully like got fixed right away. Unlike the Sun situation, but we still got to talk about it. So there were like the Knicks have this weird thing where like their first 3 games were horrible. Like we looked really bad. We had a really bad preseason, lost a lot of lost by a lot of points in preseason. Then our first 3 games were really, really bad. And there was this thing where they interviewed like multiple players, kind of led by Courtney Lee, who is kind of like our veteran presence leader on the team, who like is good enough to be considered veteran presence. And then also like, I don't know, understands how basketball works. He was saying that like he was leading the charge and other players confirmed that they didn't like the Knicks didn't really know what they were doing out there and they weren't running the plays properly. So they were saying that like, if we get our shit together in terms of running the offense that Hornacek has set out, we'll be fine. And then they were citing like transitioning from the triangle to not the triangle anymore and all that. But then, and multiple players confirmed this, and then they interview Hornacek like the next day, and he's like, oh yeah, they were running the right things about 95% of the time. So it was like really weird where it was like, everyone was identifying this one scapegoat as like, we only played bad because we hadn't got the plays right. And with time, we'll be fine, which is like a good like excuse. And then Hornacek was like, no, that's not an excuse. Like, so it's like, well, Jeff, what does it mean? Is everyone just really fucking bad at basketball? Like, what's going on? Why is the problem? And then thankfully the Knicks went on this like weird run where we decided to be good at basketball, which I think really was just like a combination of Kristaps scoring a lot of points, playing against bad teams at home, because now we're like back to 500. But it was just funny that they started really poorly. And there was this awesome scapegoat that everyone should have just latched onto and been like, yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's the beginning of the season. It's kind of like how all the good teams like the Cavs and the Warriors were like, oh, we just don't care that much. And we're wearing off Russ. Like, it's a great
Actually, I want to lose. Yeah.
It's like this great throwaway excuse that everyone should be on board with. And then Jeff Hornacek was like, no. And it's like, why, Jeff? Why?
I really like the idea, though, that none of the people in New York can count to triangle. They just don't even know it.
You know what? I'm glad we are not counting to triangle anymore, because it's so nice when you do things like run the pick and roll.
Like, it's all about counting the pentagram now. So speaking of which, not really. I was thinking about this. If you have Porzingis, I think he's a top 5 player I would build around. I would take him above Cap, who can't defend. Jokic, who I think is top 5 Reddit. Any other big man like Cousins, I think is like kind of getting old. Davis, I never believed in Davis. I've never been on the Davis. I think Davis and Cousins are still the 2 best big men, but Porzingis is the best big man prospect if you're building.
Yeah. The thing with Davis is like, I'm never trusting guys that are injured all the time. And it's always like serious injuries, because like Porzingis will have like little nagging injuries here and there, which it makes sense when you're just that big. Like it makes sense for you to be out for like a game or 2. But Davis early on in his career had like multiple of those things where he's out for like 2 or 3 weeks, and that's concerning. And it's the old phrase.
Everyone watching is worrying. Why didn't you say Joel Embiid, Ricky? Do you not think that Hakeem Olajuwon's good? Fuck you. He's good. I don't know if he has legs.
It's the whole thing of like availability is the best ability. So I don't know. Davis, yeah. It was also this weird thing where everyone's like, oh yeah, next year Anthony Davis will start shooting threes. And they said that for like 3 years.
This year, and he just airballs one every game. He goes like 1 of 3, and like one is an air ball, and like he's like, I don't like this too much. I don't.
Yeah, the tables have turned on Cat so quickly this season, but for good reason. Because it was this thing where like his first year he was awesome and he was bad at defense, but they're like, oh, he's a rookie, he's fine. And then the second year it was like, oh, he's learning Tibbs's new scheme, and he's still young, it's fine. And then this year, it's just like there's no excuse anymore. And now reporters are like, okay, we have to identify that he's actually bad at basketball or at defense when he plays basketball. Did you see? It was on Reddit where it was called like
Oh, every time he got scored on or something.
yeah, it was just like Cat defensive blunders against whatever team, and it was just like it was this weird thing. It was against the Heat, who are like not the best,
Right.
and it was this weird thing where like there were maybe like 10 clips, like 10 replays in the clip, and in 3 of them he did this thing where like the shot was already past him, and then he pretended.
Oh yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm here." It's like,
yeah, it's like, dude, I don't know. It's very weird because I don't understand how he's not good. Because you look at some people like Enes Kanter, watching him play defense, it makes sense why he's not good because he's just so slow.
Yeah.
Or like even like Jokic isn't the fastest. So when those guys fail to defend like James Harden on a pick and roll, that makes sense. But
Right.
Cat is like fast. And when you see him in the
That's great.
post on offense, he's doing crazy footwork and all this other stuff. And then on defense, he just looks like lost
It
and
looks bad.
stuck in cement. And it is very strange.
It doesn't make
because
sense.
He has the tools. What'd you say?
Yeah, I've noticed 2 things about him. One, when he's defending, he always like crosses his legs. Like he always uses the wrong leg to step. Very
Interesting.
Also, he always lets everyone go middle. Everyone goes
Yeah.
middle, and they're just like, he just gives it up. And I don't know if that's like the number one thing I remember in high school. They were like, don't go middle. That's where everyone practices.
Mhm.
Like, okay.
Yeah, I think the thing that's like it's underrated for defense, and guys don't know this or don't always like identify this right away. But Porzingis does a really good job of this, and then I think like veteran guys like Marc Gasol, and even DeAndre does this too, where like a big part of defending at the rim happens before the shot goes up. Like not everyone can be Hassan Whiteside, where you just jump up and like you're able to block everything because you're crazy athletic and long. But Porzingis does a really good job of this because he kind of like forces people into like a shot where he knows exactly where you're going to shoot, and then all of Porzingis's blocks are like those like little tiny tips to someone near you. Like he doesn't do the like smack it into the 5th row thing.
I've heard that Rashawn Holmes does this shit.
He like so Porzingis will like do the thing where he like forces you to the side to where there's only one layup you can shoot, otherwise you're gonna hit the backboard, and then he'll jump and like block it. And Gasol will do this too, and DeAndre will do this too, where it's kind of like forcing you before you shoot. And you're right, I don't think that Karl Anthony Towns is understanding that like a big portion to shot blocking is getting people in awkward positions first and just like forcing people to be in a spot where like a pass or a shot from that is either A, really hard to make, B, really awkward to make, or C, there's only one angle they can take and then you can predict it because they're either going to fall out of bounds and not have anything to do or pass/shoot to this one spot and you can predict it. And I think that's the thing that he's really missing out on.
I don't know. I mean, you would think that there's like a fucking million assistant coaches on an NBA team, just assign one of them to like always be like, hey, look at this video, dumbass. Look what you did. Like, I don't know, like doing drills. Like, how hard can it? I don't know. I'm sure.
But that's the thing. They very well could have that coach, and it's just like not getting through to Towns.
I don't know. I watched him Twitch stream Player Battlegrounds Unknown or whatever it is, the game where there's 100 people and only one.
Oh, yeah.
And
PUBG or whatever.
His defense was bad there too. He was too aggressive. He was all offense, no D. So he'd get like 2 kills and then he'd die. He'd be like the 80th death. And it's like, all right, thanks, Karl Anthony Towns.
Wow.
Yeah, anyway.
Huge red flag. Huge.
Yeah, he is who he is. Sixers had 6 losses. Knicks had 5 losses. Whoa, look at these good teams.
Well, we just had a good first month.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Awesome. So, time for the lotto.
Yeah, run that random number generator and see.
All right. I got a 3, which means the Phoenix Suns.
Who owns the Suns?
2. No one owns the Phoenix Suns.
Wow. I'm surprised no one owns the Phoenix Suns. That seems like a good contender for
That's
Chodian.
because they were a 35 win team before the season. It doesn't make any
Is
sense.
that like a Vegas prediction that they were going to win
No,
that many
I'm
games?
just,
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know why anyone would think the Suns would be good. I mean,
Yeah.
Devin Booker is one of the most overrated players in the
He is. I love having him as my chode. He's great. He is like keeping my ship. He every season for the past 3 years he has just kept my ship a course, and I've tried to just put pieces around him.
Here's a hot take. Most underrated NBA player. I'm gonna go Danilo Gallinari
Has
of
he even played a game this
the
season
Los
yet?
Angeles Clippers.
Has he
He's
even
always
played a
hurt, but that doesn't matter. When he plays, he's very good.
I don't think he's that underrated. I don't
Two,
know who I would
two
pick as
threes
like,
a game, like 3, 4 assists, 17 points. He knows. He's he's the modern Euro.
but he's always injured. I really can't give it to him. I think people know that he's good when he's on the court. He's just never on the court.
Well, as they say, the greatest inability is being in the ability.
Yep, they say that a lot.
Someone told me that once. Well, thanks everyone for hanging out with us, and I hope you have a good day.
Yeah. Oh my god. It's what a way to end it. What a way to close it out.
Chode League 2017, 2018. I'm really glad this is still going for some reason. I hope it never ends. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, friend.
See you again soon.
Yeah. Cool.